One of the best individuals I know, Mike Ayoub.
Thank you. But who was your last show? Was that Emo? Is that who I'm
Yeah,
following?
that was Haji Emo.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Great guest indeed.
Yeah.
I saw some of that. We could sit here and I could talk about Emo forever.
Haji Emo talked for a straight hour. Didn't
He's
give us a
awesome.
word, and he
Sometimes.
had so much to say and so much good to put out there.
He's a good guy sometimes.
Great. Yeah, sometimes.
6 days a week.
You should see him at the gym. Everybody's scared of him.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you for having me on, guys.
Of course.
It's an honor.
Of course.
Man,
It's an honor
Ali,
for us
Sam,
as well.
thank you.
Of course. What now?
Before we get going though, Sam, why is Ali ripping your jacket?
You know what?
I think he's jealous,
He's a little
to be
bit
honest.
mad that I'm wearing.
Honestly,
a nice,
I'll be real with you guys. It's the orange that's going with the purple.
cares?
yeah, this is the
Honestly,
headband
you
that you
look-
got on
but-
your
but
neck.
listen,
You're a stud, bro.
But you guys nowadays, listen, your generation, you guys wear anything. You can put anything together.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Like, and it doesn't matter.
For sure.
Colors, patterns, right? Your gym shoes with suit.
I'm just trying to be a little bit different, you know.
I love it. I love it.
I appreciate you, man.
No problem.
He gets beat up in the comment section on some of these posts though. Wow.
They're mad. They're mad because I was talking shit about the Lions. So, I don't know.
You're not a Lions fan?
Not a Lions fan. I'm a Jets fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pre-Salah or after Salah?
No, actually, it's after Salah, but more so an Aaron Rodgers thing versus versus anything else.
Yeah. Awesome.
Aaron Rodgers is my GOAT.
Listen, the greatest throw I've ever seen in football was in the playoffs against my Cowboys, where he was rolling to the sideline and he made this one throw, and you can Google it, Aaron Rodgers Cowboys playoff game. It is the best throw you will ever see.
Where is it? Where he's coming off of his feet and he did a
I think so. Hit the guy on the sideline. No, he hit
He hit Rodgers on the sideline.
He hit somebody on the sideline, and then they kicked the field goal, I think.
Yeah.
But my God, he amazing.
What was the first name of that tight end that played for Green Bay?
Who was it at the time?
It was Rodgers.
Man.
It was a Rodgers to Rodgers
Really?
throw. I'm almost 100% sure.
I don't remember, but I remember the throw, but I don't remember who it was.
I don't know. I can't
They had me
remember.
crying after that game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. On his behalf.
Listen, he's. I mean, what are you gonna say? GOAT, right?
For sure.
Top
for sure.
5.
One of them.
One
yeah,
of
for
them,
sure.
yeah.
Talent wise, he's up there.
Yeah,
For
talent,
sure.
absolutely.
Talent
No doubt
wise, he's
about
up there.
Yep. So, anyways, yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
No problem.
It's an honor.
So, Mike, talk to me about the real estate market. What are you seeing? What are we?
Well, we're still seeing the supply and demand issues, right? We see it nationally, and we see it in our market.
Okay.
Right. Interest rates, as Sam knows, right? You've been going up and down, up and down. I think we've had down the last.
It's been fluctuating up and
Yeah.
down, like you said, for wow, you could put months on that timeline.
Okay.
But recently, and especially in the next week, we're gonna have a Fed meeting where we're anticipating a rate cut, but we're already seeing that occur right now.
Nice.
If you just Google on
Yeah,
Google,
right.
type
Oh,
in average mortgage interest rates right now on a 30-year fixed loan. You could just type that in on Google, and you'll notice a big dramatic decline in interest rates, for the better.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, they're getting good.
Good. My theory, I don't want them to go too low too quick, though, because I don't know with the lack of inventory if we can handle it. Right. I think prices will just go.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Absolutely.
a shock to the market. That's for sure, and that's
It
what's
will
going to
be.
happen. So,
I don't think it going too low. Anyways, it won't. We got to correct inflation, some way, somehow. I don't think we can do that by coming out like that. And if it drops, really that low.
these reports that have been coming out from the Feds talking about inflation, CPI, and all the data. It's like if you're not well versed in reading them, they're very skewed. So, for example, you get inflation reports at a certain percentage, and you'd be like, "Wow!" I feel like it's way more than that. But it takes the average of so many things to make it such that low number.
Got it.
But the
So
necessities
it's higher
that we
in
need,
some areas.
a lot higher in
I
some
get it.
areas. So, for
Interesting.
example, like car insurance.
Okay.
That's something that's at 22% roughly right now.
Yeah.
Inflated 22%. It's a lot of the necessities, for example, rent is another key factor. It's things that people need on a daily basis that they have to go out and obtain and purchase that are at high inflation.
Correct.
Versus the things that are kind of like pleasure, things that you don't need. Those are getting lower, and
Right.
the inflation on those are about normal.
Yeah, you know what? One thing I've noticed being a landlord, I own a lot of rentals, is some of these rents, I can't believe it sometimes. I really can't, and it's just wow,
What are you seeing in the rental market?
a lot high. So I own a lot of properties in the Dearborn Heights, Detroit area, and my rents are up 20-25%.
Wow.
are.
That's crazy. It really is. Rent has increased dramatically over the past 4-5 years. You know, it had a steady increase over the past 5 years. But you're talking about, what were you renting out one of your Detroit properties?
Oh gosh,
in 2015,
if you took a typical 3-bedroom West Side Detroit property that I own in Warrendale, let's say, right, I'd get $900, $1,000, right?
Yeah.
And right now, I'm picking and choosing who I want at $1,300-$1,400. You can even get up to $1,500, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure all of us tell our clients, right, especially with the zero down programs or whatever, 3, 5, whatever percentage it be, it's cheaper to buy. Even with rates at
it is
6,
Yeah.
it's cheaper to buy.
Yeah.
Well, because again, like you have a lot of rentals, right? So you're initially collecting deposits too, like what you're collecting first months,
absolutely,
maybe last months
Correct.
as well.
Yeah.
Maybe something additional, but it's like all that money you could also leverage it to purchase
Absolutely,
a home.
you can.
You know,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, people are
people don't
coming out
look
of
at it like
pocket
that.
at bare minimum $5,000 to get into a rental
Yeah,
property.
Just to get in.
Just to
Yeah,
get
when
in.
you factor in
right.
the first month security deposits.
Yeah. Imagine there's a house listed on the market for 30, 40 days. These people can get pre-approved for a mortgage instead, and you can get them concessions. You can get them those things, and they can come in with.
So
with
this is
that.
where you guys got to educate them.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think a lot of agents are doing their job in educating those people with that stuff.
Right? Yeah, that's another story and conversation.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder.
Yeah,
It's a little bit harder. But yeah, Mike, obviously with the war that's going on in Palestine, and now it's shifted to Lebanon.
We're gonna talk politics.
I don't. We don't need to get into politics.
You know me. I don't shy away from it.
Yeah, we just we really wanna go over this for the viewers. You know, just to educate them a little bit more. I know you're really good at doing that. What do you think? You know, what do you think is our stance on it, and where
I
can we go from
I
there?
do think as a community that we're a one topic, one issue, right? And
Sure.
that's the genocide. I definitely think that. As far as the elections around the corner, and I can't speak for many, but I think that collectively, I think that most of us, not all of us, can agree that we got to punish the Democrats. I'll say it.
Yeah.
They got blood on their hands, and I don't think those numbers that we hear out of Gaza, I unfortunately, and I pray I'm wrong, I think they're way more.
Yeah.
Right. The number of deaths and all that, and
What is it? 40,000.
40, 50,000, but I think it's been stuck on there for a couple months now, and journalists aren't even allowed in anymore. But there's some reports out there. I think it was the Washington Post or whoever it was. There was some report that was done that said it might be 150 to 180,000.
Yeah.
that are dead. So listen, we want it to stop, right? Like yesterday, not today.
Yeah.
Right? You need a ceasefire ASAP.
Absolutely.
As we record this, there's a tragedy in South Lebanon today, and numerous fatalities there. But without getting too much into elections, I do think that we as a community, as I told, I think it was a CBS interview we did last week, that he asked if we were a one issue community, and I said, yeah, absolutely. And that is the ceasefire in Palestine.
But what do you think? So, let's say we do get a Republican in office, Donald Trump. Let's say, for example.
So look, that's a great question, right? He says finish him off, but he also says it would have never happened, right? If he was in office, and maybe he's right, or
Sure.
maybe he's just blowing smoke, right?
For sure.
Look, at the end of the day, I don't think the party matters when it gets to Israel.
Yeah,
and their self-defense. I don't.
Realistically, I don't either.
I don't think it matters. I just think that the American-Israeli lobby and AIPAC are just too powerful.
It's too powerful, and the support is always going to be there.
Absolutely. They got. I think I think an issue that we have as a community is, and I hope I don't offend anyone, but I'm just going to speak, my heart and speak the truth. Is I think sometimes we're, we scream and yell and put what we want in our chats and on social media, and that's it. We don't put our money where our mouth is.
Yes, we shy away.
We don't.
We actually talked about that on the last episode. There's a lot of money being invested in the wrong places.
Yeah,
there's things that we need more of in Dearborn or in Dearborn Heights or in any other community that we're investing the money into.
Let me take it further. I was with a friend from Chicago. He's a big accountant out there for one of the huge firms. He's a partner, Palestinian, and he said something, and I was like, gosh, yeah, it's a great point. He says, we need to also, our young professionals, right? It's great that we have all these doctors and these attorneys, right? When I was young, we had a couple doctors, we had a couple attorneys, right? Fast forward now, and my God, we could probably name 1,000 of them right now, and it's great. It's amazing. I love it. But, we need, as far as us maturing as a community, right? We need professionals in other places, right? We need them in journalism, right? We need them in tech. We need them in management. We need them in Fortune 500 companies. So that way we have influence.
Yes.
Right? Right now we just don't have it. A friend of mine always says that we're an unsophisticated community, right? And at first I'd say, screw you. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I get it. And especially after, since October 7th, unfortunately, you see that, okay, we're still young, 40, 50 years here. That's not too long. But, I think we have a ways to go, but I think we'll get there.
I think so. There was a report that came out not too long ago where in Dearborn we've spent about $1 billion into small businesses, local grocery stores, things of that nature. $1 billion has been spent in the city of Dearborn, and I believe Dearborn Heights was included in the mix on that.
That's a lot.
Just to show you how much money we are spending in just those two communities. And we have everything accessible to us. Your doctor's office is 5 minutes away from you. Your grocery store is 2 minutes away. You can do anything that you want within our cities, within our city limits. And I don't think people understand what a luxury that is.
Absolutely.
Isn't
that, let's go back to real estate, though. That's why people don't want to leave.
Oh,
right?
my God, yeah.
That's why people don't want to leave.
That's why I bought my house.
They're trying to replicate, too. I mean, they're also trying to replicate. Like, for example, Canton is getting...
Absolutely.
Yes.
A lot of these businesses as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, as a community, I love that we keep our money within our community.
Yes.
Right? I love that the support that we have for each other. It's great. It's a beautiful thing. And it's a double-edged sword. Like, you spend it and you stay here and you want to stay here, but that's what's on the real estate end of it, right? People say, oh, my God, I won't pay X amount for this house or that house.
Sure.
My neighborhood, a couple of those houses that we've seen selling for $1 million that they're demolishing. And I says, well, it's supply and demand. People want to stay here. They don't want to leave. I have a young physician, young doctor. He's got 2 daughters. They might have just had a third. But anyways, he lived in Dearborn, in the Dearborn Country Club area, a beautiful house. And he decided to go out to Bloomfield Hills and bought in this gorgeous, stunning neighborhood. The home started at $4 million. It was like, wow, stuff you'd see on TV, right? And 6, 7, 8 months into it, he calls me and says, you got to find me something in Dearborn. I'm coming back. I says, Doc, why? He says, I want to come back to Dearborn. I want to raise my daughters in Dearborn. And I was like, wow.
You're just not
and
happy.
We hear a lot of that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a sense of community.
It's a sense of community. That's
right?
What it is, yeah.
And when they have kids and, they get a little bit older, they start saying, and I'm sure those other communities are great. It's not that they're bad communities or there's
absolutely
crime
absolutely
and drugs
not.
everywhere. I said Bloomfield Hills.
But I think it's more convenient for us because if my wife walks into a grocery store, she's gonna at bare minimum see 5 people that she knows.
Yeah.
I know my wife will be safe around some of the people that she,
absolutely.
whether it's a relative, a family friend, no matter who the case may be, she's gonna run into somebody,
yeah.
and that leaves me a little more comfort when I'm at work all day.
Yeah.
I got other things to take care
Absolutely.
of, and I got other things on my mind. That makes me a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
Now, if we were living in another city, she's going to that grocery store or that Hobby Lobby, or she's going there.
Yeah. You're right.
Actually, Home Goods. That's her spot.
Oh gosh.
Home Goods. And you women who sit at Home Goods, honestly, you guys have a sick obsession. You need to cut that crap out.
Tell my wife.
Bro,
she needs to get a job at Home Goods.
Come
you
on.
listen and you watch it. She needs to get a job there, get their discount. But listen, so last, I'm going to go back to the community. Last month, mid-August, I lost my mom, and thank you guys. And we had the typical the family and friends coming over, and one of the nights we're sitting in my driveway, and we got a big family, and my neighbor comes by, Dr. Saad, and he says, Look at this.
Yeah.
It was 9:30, 10 at night. We probably had 40, 50 people over, which, for me and my family, my siblings, right, it's comforting, right?
Yes, of course.
Because you're not going to get these people here. These people, and it was, all day and all night, for over a week. And it was great, right? And that's what community is.
The support that you
Absolutely.
have, and
The
I know you've
support
lost
system.
a couple of your sisters,
Yeah,
Hamon,
yeah.
and
We had
so
last couple of years.
that support from the community will always keep you afloat.
100%.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree.
You know
more.
what else I love about our community?
No.
Because I'm looking at you right now, Ali, and I'm thinking about Ak, my son.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
You know,
because we got the same hairdo.
yeah. Yeah. His is a little bit.
His
But
a
I
little
love the
bit
fact that, you know, you can walk into my office and say, hey, I saw Ak yesterday. You know, he was turning the corner a little too fast. I told him this or that.
Absolutely.
Right? Or I saw him at the gym. And
By the way, at the gym, now that you mention it, your boy put up 275 for 5 yesterday.
wow.
Hey,
75 for 5?
275 for 5. I was spotting.
Good job.
Hey, beast.
But you know, I love the whole, it takes a village. I
Yes.
do. I love it. I love it.
Absolutely.
Especially having kids, you know, kids my age, right? My youngest is in 8th grade at Bryant, but having a son who's, 19, almost 20 years old. And it's nice knowing these younger guys because I'm not out there all the time.
Yes.
So they'll tell me, hey, we saw him here. He's hanging out with these guys next. I love it.
I'll be honest with you. The other day, he came to me with a little bit of a problem.
Uh-oh.
It wasn't a huge problem. It was just something he expressed his opinion to me. I guided him on how he should take action. He came back to me the next day and he's like, you know what's funny? He's like, I used every single word that you said and everything was okay.
See that? And he didn't even tell me, guys.
He didn't even.
This is great.
Yeah, he told me. He's like, it's nothing to get.
They never told me about this.
Absolutely.
And my son never told me about this. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's what,
absolutely.
That's what.
As much
that's
as
what our
you've
community
mentored
is.
me, I can do the same thing for your kids.
We have to.
inshallah.
I got a friend who, I won't mention names, but he's at one of the major universities here in Michigan, and he does, he does a lot. He does everything, and he likes to keep it, on the down low. And he's helped a lot. When I say a lot of kids get into a lot of our medical schools and law schools here, and engineering schools and all that. And I remember one time years ago, I says, that's awesome, that's great. We're talking about what you expect in return and all that. And he told me, he says, listen, every year the group of kids that he guides and helps, I think it was a lunch or a dinner he has with them, puts them in a room, and says, I don't want anybody to repay. There's only one way you're going to repay me. I don't want anything from anybody, but all I want is for you guys. You guys are going to be in that position.
Yes.
Right? You guys are going to be in a position, once you get your career going, to be able to help someone, to be able to pay it forward
Yes.
from our community. You better not forget. You better not forget this.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was profound.
And I hope those kids don't forget it.
I hope so too.
Because
right?
you're never going to make it anywhere in this life.
And
I don't care
think
who
they
you
will.
are. I don't
Yeah,
care who
no,
you
you're
are. And
right.
I've said
Absolutely.
it 100 times. Somebody will always open a door for you. I don't care if it's a small door, a big door. You're always going to get doors open for you. If you take advantage of the opportunity, good for you.
That's on you
If you
then,
don't
right?
take it, that's on you as well.
Yeah.
So, you got to figure that part out.
Ale, I do these career days at Fortson, right?
Okay.
And other schools. But anyways, Fortson, because you know me in Fortson,
Yeah.
right? We got to give the tractors a shout out, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I, so I graduated in the 80s. All right, I'm old. I graduated in 88. And when I was at Fortson, the University of Michigan was a football team on TV,
Yeah.
right? I don't know.
It was, yeah.
That's what they were, guys.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
was in the past, yeah.
That's all it was. For my generation, we might have had a couple kids that went there.
Yeah.
But U of M was a football team on TV. Michigan State was, the green and white team in East Lansing that we didn't like.
Sure.
Fast forward now, I mean, you got kids, you talk about opportunity that are churning down U of M to go to Harvard or
Yes.
Yale or
Yeah.
Penn,
And
or
getting scholarships
Stanford,
to do,
and getting full rides.
rides.
We're gonna have
Full
we're gonna have
rides.
an episode of one of those students.
And it's
That's great.
Hopefully,
It's
yeah.
multiple people too. It's
Multiple.
Not, it's not just one person every
Absolutely.
5-6 years.
Yes,
So,
yes.
I think we had a few of them. Like last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Every year.
Every year.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, you've got, I think every year now when you combine Dearborn Heights, you take Fortson, Dearborn High, Etzel, Crestwood, you've got multiple kids going to Ivy League schools.
Absolutely.
Brilliant
right?
individuals.
I mean,
Brilliant.
I remember, I don't know how many years ago it was, but I think it was, I don't know if it was on the same weekend, but I think it was within the same graduating springtime classes that this was great. There was Mhajabeh giving a commencement speech at U of M, Ann Arbor, and there was also Mhajabeh giving a commencement speech somewhere at Harvard, right? And I remember that. I'm like, wow. I mean,
No.
amazing.
You're
And
right.
there was
Smile
another
on your
kid
face.
too.
Yes.
There was another kid, I think, from Crestwood maybe, who was also speaking to you. But I says, my God, small. I mean, look how far we've come.
Absolutely.
Smallah.
Right?
Absolutely. Wallah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give a teaser, but
Yeah.
one of my wife's good friends went from Crestwood to got a full ride scholarship to Oxford University in England.
I knew her when she was a baby.
Left Oxford University, got a full ride schooling to Harvard.
Right.
And that's crazy because she's a doctor now.
Oh, okay.
But she did all this. She did
Amazing.
all this and all on full rides. Her parents didn't have to break the bank.
Yeah,
No
great.
penny spent. But smallah alayha. In that point in time when she was doing all this, she started a bunch of fundraisers, a bunch of camps, a bunch of things that can help the youth and can help the people in our community. And she did a phenomenal job.
I'm going
at
to tell you, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Allah yarhamu Imad Fadlallah.
Yes.
Okay? And I say that because
This was my principal my freshman year.
what a man.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
You know, I hope we can name a school after him one day. Our community, as you guys know, right, especially when it gets to our female students, you know, we don't want them leaving the house. We didn't want them going away from school. And a lot of these, you know, these young girls were just starting to get these offers to Michigan and out of state.
Yes.
And he would take it upon himself. He would go knock on the door, go inside and sit with the family,
Yes.
sit with the mom and dad.
I heard about those.
Yes,
the
and say,
benefit
listen, you got to let these kids go.
Yes.
Right? He had, from what I was told, he has a condo or a house he had, Allah yarhamu, in Ann Arbor, and he'd let some of the kids live there free.
Yeah.
The ones, that, I mean, right?
Allah yarhamu, but you talk about
Amazing.
giving back. That man used to
amazing.
give back a lot.
Yeah,
He did.
Absolutely.
He did.
So, yeah, our community, I love it. I have a tagline, Dearborn breeds winners.
Yes. Absolutely. I think it's I think I heard this somewhere else, but it's the business capital of the country. I could say the world, but
We got a lot of entrepreneurs here, that's for sure.
we got a lot of entrepreneurs. Everybody's doing their own thing. Everybody's trying to make a name for themselves, and they're all doing it in a reputable way. Some not very reputable, but they're
We got a lot of hustle here, that's for sure.
yeah, that's for sure.
Right? When we were younger, again, I'm going to go back to when we were younger, right? We had this doctor, we had this attorney, and it was a big deal. Look at where we are now,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, you know, we mentioned earlier, you got a head coach of an NFL team, right?
Sure.
And he's given lots of kids
Got lots of
Opportunities,
opportunities.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Right? You've got a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, right? We've got numerous professors everywhere now. Like it's not a big deal, right? We've had chiefs of staffs at hospitals,
Yes.
right? We had the Solicitor General of the state here, right? I mean,
It's very diverse.
we went from 0 to 100 real quick.
0 to 100
Yeah,
real quick,
absolutely.
and it's diversified
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah, very.
It's not all in just like one spot.
Nope.
It's a little bit of
Yeah,
everything.
it's all over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope that's a trajectory that we keep on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right.
Well, at the end of the day, we're figuring it out as we go along. So are they. And inshallah, we can make it work.
Inshallah. But you guys need to keep that going.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we will. And we will. Eventually, as long as we have the right people on our side,
Yes.
we definitely will. For
sure.
For sure.
So right people on your side, and it's like you said, like how you mentioned earlier, it's the giving back, remembering where you're from, giving that good advice, receiving that good advice.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of everything, just positive mentality, and all of us, we work together, and eventually we'll get there.
Definitely.
If we're not even already there, but we'll get there even further.
We got a ways to go.
Yeah.
But I feel confident we're going to get there.
Yeah.
I see it.
Just like how my brother gave back to you this weekend. You got your ass kicked in fantasy, bro.
He dropped, not gonna lie, he dropped
I thought-
200 on my head.
Hey, he dropped 225 on him.
Jeesh.
Yeah, but
Right.
our league has bonuses. The league that me and you are in, there's no bonuses. These guys, we have bonuses.
So like a 50-yard field goal's worth 20.
No, so like if your running back goes over 100 yards, you get 5
Yeah,
extra
you're getting
points.
an extra
If
5
your receiver
points,
goes over
something like
500 yards, three extra
Jeesh.
points. Yeah.
That's
so-
why it's called fantasy football,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're living a dream, that's
Huge
the only way
fantasy.
your brother can win.
Yeah.
I'm just
The
kidding.
other day
love
I
my
asked
son.
him. I'm like, hey, listen, me and you are lined up right against each other. You're guarding me. How many times do you think I get open and catch the ball?
What did he tell you? I know
He
he's
tried
a
to
little
be
bit
a hero
cocky,
because
but-
we were around people. But I'd put him in the dust.
Your brother?
Yes, I'd put him in the dust.
I'd love to watch a clip of that.
I remember you coaching at Hype, man.
Oh yeah.
You coached Lulu, my daughter.
Yes, when she was younger.
Yeah.
And those
See?
days.
coaching,
Those
giving
day-
back.
Those days,
Yeah.
basketball has always been a huge passion of mine, always. And when you're coaching the youth and you start to see them grow up.
It's awesome.
So mind you, I see Lulu nowadays, and all I can remember her is wearing an orange jersey, her hair in a ponytail,
Oh my
and she's
God.
just running around.
That's hilarious.
And it's crazy because I'm looking at all these kids. Some of these kids are taller than me.
Yeah.
They're bigger than me.
Yeah.
They're probably stronger than me. I'm looking at them. I'm like, wow, smallah, man. These kids. I don't know what their moms are feeding them because it wasn't what my mom's feeding me.
But listen, you guys did a great job. You and even now the coaches.
Yes, even now, yeah. There's some of the
I watched
coaches.
a lot of you guys,
Yes.
and I still see some of you guys. And I see what you guys are doing on your lives.
Yeah.
I applaud you guys.
No,
I commend you
alhamdulillah.
guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And that place, like, I can always say hype is one of the reasons why I am who I am today.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's great.
I say it's been one of the individuals in my life who's helped me guide my way through everything.
Ali, I want $50 anyways.
100. He just started a podcast too.
Yeah, I know.
Hype Talk.
I know. So they were at the office last week. I did a video for them.
Yeah.
He sent this
Badass.
videographer.
Yeah.
Funny story about hype.
Oh,
Funny story.
I know this story.
Is, you're right, and this is what I told them.
Yeah.
But, funny story about Ali. It was, I don't know when he started, 2000, 2001. And my nephew David was working with me, David Mackey. And David and Ali are like best friends. He grew up with them. And he says, hey, Khal, you know what? My friend Ali, he's going to do this 3-on-3 basketball tournament
Yeah.
at Hemlock Park. I was like, okay, cool. It's like, so, maybe we can sponsor. He wants you to come and sponsor him. This is 2000, 2001. And there's no social media. There's no Instagram. You know what I mean? There's none of that. And I'm laughing. I'm like, what's this guy going to do? He's going to, fly the helicopter banner with my logo. I go, and, I'm thinking, I know Hemlock. I grew up in Hemlock. And I'm thinking, where's he going to advertise?
Where's he going to put it?
Put a banner on the Hemlock Hill?
Or on the tree?
So anyways, Ali comes in and he's got this suit on. Ali's still got a baby face. So at the time,
Yes.
he looked like he was 10.
Yeah.
Blew me away.
Oh, yeah.
Blew me away.
Definitely.
And I remember him leaving and I was like, I said to David, I says, Khal, this kid's impressive.
Yeah.
I says, he's going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote him a check for a couple $100, but it's like I was blown away. And yeah, it's great to see that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We talked a lot. We see, what you're about and everything. I do want to get on a little touchy subject. But I remember a few years back, you were talking to us about a Thanksgiving that you had with your family. I think you mentor, you take on one of the kids that are in
Muhammad.
Gaza. Muhammad, yes.
So 2019, not local, they're a national organization, PCRF, Palestinian Children's Relief Fund. I was in a chat and somebody said, hey guys, we have a amputee coming here from Gaza. Lost his leg and there was a clinic, a new ANEW, I think they were called. They're out of downtown, and they were donating the leg and the services and all that. And he needs a host family. So I says, wow, this would be great. I sent it to my wife, and I sent a picture. The picture's really cute.
Yeah.
I can give it to you guys, hopefully.
Yeah.
But cutest kid, 14 years old, big smile on his face. And I showed it to my wife, and I asked her. She immediately responded, yes. You know what I mean? And my wife and I says, we're doing something great, obviously, but what a valuable lesson also to teach our kids at the time, right? Mm-hmm. That, hey, when you can help, you do what you can and you help. So, Muhammad came in. We were fortunate enough to be selected, stay with us for a few months, 5-6 months. A couple things that I remember. And by the way, I'm still in contact with him almost daily.
How's he doing?
It's tough.
It's tough.
Right? He lived in the Jabalia refugee camp, which, if you know or don't know, it's been bombed God knows how many times. He sends me pictures and videos. They're constantly on the move, right? He's got the one leg because his prosthetic leg, I don't even know if it fits him anymore, if it works anymore. And, they're constantly on the run. And one of the videos, they're sleeping in tents. And I'm not talking tents like we go pitch up north or something.
Yes.
Sure.
Things are falling apart. There's mud and the water in there. But so Muhammad, I remember when he first came, I think it was the first week or two he was here. I think Fortnite was in, right? Fortnite was a big deal. And I think my son was playing Fortnite and he's watching. He's like, wow, I'm looking at him like, do you play that Fortnite? He looked at me like, are you seriously asking me this? I'm like, do you play it back home? He's like, no. I go, how do you know Fortnite? He goes, we watch people play it on YouTube. I was like, damn, okay. talk about, being spoiled, right?
Yeah. You don't realize how good you have it.
Oh, let me tell you. I learned so much, and I use in a selfish way, when I know what they're going through. So, the Thanksgiving story you're talking about, yeah. So it was Thanksgiving that year, and as Holly knows, I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. It's kind of too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he needs to tone it down.
Yeah, I need to
couple
tone it down.
notches.
So I hate that they play on Thanksgiving because it ruins my Thanksgiving. I sit there and wait for it all day. And that specific Thanksgiving, we were going to eat at my sister-in-law's house. And if you're watching this, too, turn it off now. I wasn't looking forward to it. She's not the greatest cook in the world. And I remember telling my wife, hey, she better have a TV that works, that has the game, that of course she does, but that's how obsessive I am. Like, she better have this TV. I won't miss a play,
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, yeah, she does this and that, and so anyways, here I am stressing that day, and how's the food going to be, and am I going to miss the game, and blah 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 blah. So we were eating later in the day, probably 4 or 5 o'clock, and Muhammad had a hell of a personality, great personality, really funny kid, and just lovable, But that day he was really quiet to himself, and my wife says, "Hey, you know what? Muhammad's not himself today." So rewind, a couple weeks, or really from the time he got there up until that, people would always come visit Muhammad from the community, from the Palestinian community, from all over Metro Detroit. They'd come see him, and they'd give him a hadiyah, a gift. And they'd give him money. So we had an envelope put aside, and we put all the money in there for him. You know what I mean? It was very generous, like we talk about a generous community.
Yeah.
That week, he asked my wife, he goes, I'm going to keep this $200. He had $200 bills. I'm going to keep them with me. My wife's like, of course. Yeah, it's your money. Do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
But, we're going to take care of him. I'm not going to let him go spend money anywhere, right?
Sure.
So that Thanksgiving day, he's just a little bit emotional. He's a little bit down. And my wife says, go in the room, see what's wrong with him. So I'm like, Muhammad, what's wrong, Habibi? What's wrong, Amma? You okay? And, he's telling me how he's trying to get medicine to his brother in Palestine, how he's not doing well. And he sends me a copy of the prescription or something. And he wanted to know if he could take that money and buy his brother the medicine, and if we can get it to him, or get him the money. Send him the money so he can go buy the medicine. He doesn't have money for the medicine. And it turns out it was just like an ulcer medication. It wasn't anything crazy, but they didn't even have.
Yeah, but it's not accessible. It's
not accessible. Yeah. They just don't have money like that.
Right.
So I was like, oh my God. I was like, let's go. We went to one of the Arab markets who still had the Western Union or whatever. And, I didn't let him send it, obviously. But, we sent the money to him, this and that, and he was relieved. And, and I remember that story because I'm complaining about what?
The Cowboys, the food,
the game, right?
Is it going to be
and this guy?
GDP,
Yeah. Is it going to be, baked potatoes, sweet potatoes? The turkey going to be overcooked? Is Dell's going to win or lose? Is the TV going to be an 80-inch, a 40-inch, a 60-inch?
Yeah.
Right? We got first world problems.
No, we got
first world problems.
Definitely do.
We really do.
So anyways, I remember that story. And
you said
puts things in perspective quick.
Absolutely.
It puts it into perspective. And you said you still communicate with him.
We do. So he sends me, we communicate. I communicate with him, and my wife communicates with his sister and his mother. They lost their father years ago. Muhammad, on the Friday after Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
They were protesting, right? So in Palestine, they protest on Fridays after Friday prayer, peaceful protests. He's 14 years old, and boom, shot him in the leg, amputated, which they do on a normal, regular basis.
Yeah.
Right? There's amputees are, unfortunately, it's the norm there.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So that's where he lost his leg, yeah.
Man, that's tough. It's very tough.
Very tough.
If you don't mind me asking, of course he's going through, some times right now in Palestine, but the communication, that piece, how do you feel like his energy is, his attitude?
It's not like it was.
Yeah, it's not the same, right?
No, it's not the same. Before he's a big joker, right? Really, he's a big joker and really fun. And now almost defeated. Some of his posts and maybe if they allow, we can share some of the
Yeah.
pictures. But just there's times where how you doing? Not good. Are you guys eating? Not a lot, or we don't have food, or things like that. It's
it's tough.
very, very tough. His sister at the during the genocide, she was pregnant, and I know my wife was dealing with her, talking to her, and she was going through a lot of stress and all that. And you worry about the baby. And I remember when the genocide first started.
So you, by the way, sorry to cut you off. Yeah. So you believe it is a genocide?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
how would you describe a
there's
genocide?
no gray area. I mean, look, you're intentionally targeting, right? You're forced starvation, right? You're ethnic cleansing. I mean, I can't give you the textbook definition, but the textbook definition of genocide is this.
Yes.
And I think anyone that denies that is a fool, or they've been brainwashed.
Yes.
Right? I mean, there's no doubt. But anyways, I remember when it first started. My wife, she was a wreck. She'd be online all day checking. I guess you can see if they're online or not. Maybe.
Yeah.
Just to make sure they were okay.
Just to make sure he's okay.
Because sometimes we'd send messages and
see if he's like active, not active. Like when was the last time you were last seen?
I remember there was a time where it was a few days. There was a few days where we didn't hear from him, and he wasn't active, and it was pretty tense.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? How long could he get a visa for? I wanted to ask.
I don't know.
How does that work?
We're trying right now.
Okay.
We're trying. Even before this, I was thinking, I know. So we have a friend here who, he's from Lebanon, stepped on a landmine, lost his leg, and he's been here all his life. Right?
Yeah.
He's professional here and all that. But I think because his cut was below the knee, he ended up getting cancer in the knee. So he just recently had a surgery there. And I worry because I said to myself, Muhammad doesn't have the best medical care there. And I always said, he's a young man now. He got taller. He's getting bigger. He'd probably have to come back, maybe get refitted, maybe get a new leg. So I always thought about, if he wanted to come back anyway. So we're trying right now.
Yeah.
We're trying to see if we can get him out. It's not easy.
If you gave the kid a 100-day visa, for example, if he could be in this country for 100 days, do you truly believe that he would stay, or do you think he'd want to be with his family?
Right now he'd want to be here. He's told me.
He'd want to be here.
Yeah. He would want to be here. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But you asked that, and I go back to when he was leaving, and guys, home is home.
Yeah.
And he was happy to
Yeah, he wanted to
make
back
that trip
home.
back. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it's his
Home is
family.
home.
It's his family.
It's his family.
He doesn't have a home right now because they're pitching up a tent right now.
But still, being with his mother and his siblings.
Yes, exactly.
Right? That's your sense of security, belonging, right? But would he like to come here and get a break from that and, get his leg checked out? And, he sent me a message a couple of months ago, about a month or two ago. He says, hey, they never ask for anything.
Yeah.
Ever. Anything that we've ever sent, we've forced upon them. They never ask me for anything. So one day he's like, hey, Amo, I want to set up a little booth and sell stuff to help feed my family.
Yeah. Trying to make some money on his own.
Yeah. I'm like, whatever you want, whatever you need. So, I was able to get some help over to him, and, he sent me a picture of this, little shack booth, whatever that he built, and bought some, some groceries, some shirts and stuff like that, and tried selling them to feed his family.
Yeah.
I mean,
man, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
First, you talk about first world, third world, second world. I don't care what it is. I don't care if you got $5 to your name. You're living a 10 times better life than he is.
Let me tell you something. I haven't really shared this, but so I remember the night that my mom's last night, she passed away in the daytime the next day. We knew it was close, but we thought it was still a couple weeks away. And I remember she was up that whole night, right? And she kept telling us she was dying. She kept saying, I'm dying. I'm like, what are you talking about, Mom? No, go to sleep. And she's looking at me telling me, hey, now, hindsight's 2020. Anyways, I remember, so, we had this hospital bed in the house, and, you're controlling it, right? And she had morphine and medications, right? And, turn her on this side, do this, give her this, give me some ice chips. And I said to myself, look at this. I'm controlling this.
Yeah.
You're controlling the meds. You're controlling how comfortable they are. You're controlling what they can eat, what they can't eat, right? And I I thought about Gaza, and I thought about, the Yemen, South Lebanon, with what they're going through. And I says, my God, even in death, we're still fortunate.
Oh my God. Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
We are.
Absolutely.
So, alhamdulillah for everything.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah for everything. And inshallah khair too.
Inshallah, yeah.
Inshallah.
So I don't know, man. What else you got to say? I feel like you got something you want to spew out. You have something you want to talk about. There's no way you don't. I know you got something. Anything.
What do we always talk, Ali? Sports?
You could talk sports.
Cowboys just had a game.
Yeah, they look like crap.
Exactly.
Listen, Ali knows I'm a big Dallas Slappy, but I'm also a realist.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can play with anyone 1 week, but anybody can beat them.
The only person that I like on Dallas is Dak. Because
Dak's a leader.
I've been watching him since
Wait a minute. What about Micah?
Michael Parsons, he's a beast. He's a
Yeah.
beast.
He's a
but
Parsons
I really,
is a star.
I've just liked Dak because like his personality. He's
Great story, great leader, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lost his brother, lost his
there's
mom.
a story about him when he was, he had to have been high school because he didn't win no college championships. I think it was high school, but you're still young.
Yeah.
You're still a little
You're
immature
not-
at
you're not
17.
gonna be a quarterback in the
So they
NFL.
won, I don't know if it was a state championship or what, and they wanted to carry Dak off the field, and I think that one of the team managers had a disability or something. He's like, no, let's carry him off the field. I was like, wow, this guy.
Yeah.
Some character.
Yeah.
So,
Some
but
great-
anyways, let's get a debate going here for the comment section. LeBron or Michael?
Listen, you go first. Sure.
Only because I know where he's going.
Stop.
Sure.
Hey, listen, just put your.
Hey, can
mic back on.
today's players play with the 80s and 90s?
I think today's players
This
will
is why I did this.
absolutely destroy
Different era, man.
the
They
80s
can't.
and 90s.
They can't. How can they?
I have a question for you.
Talk
for
to
you.
me.
Okay, the 80s and 90s players on defense were like you.
No, they weren't like me. It was. I wish I could play defense like how they played defense in the 80s
Listen,
and 90s.
I'm
with all the physical and
Okay,
stuff like that that's
okay,
going on.
okay, I have
and
a
now
question.
You got somebody,
I've-
if they like spew like air towards your way, you're
Okay.
getting fouled.
So basketball today is more of a skill and a talent.
Okay,
Not
but
on
it's but
defense.
it's not physical.
Not on defense.
Yeah, it's not physical.
Hang on, hold up. But when you talk about basketball back then, yes, it was definitely more physical, which we like the physicality.
Yeah, of course.
Guys are steering away from driving to the basket. They'd rather
Right.
pull up for three. This is just the game that we live in today.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the talent-wise today, I'm only speaking on talent. And Michael Jordan was ahead of his era in talent. There is no comparison whatsoever.
Okay.
The most talented player that I've ever watched, and I've watched him in person too, is Kyrie Irving. There's nobody that's more talented than that individual. He's not an athlete. He's a basketball player.
But if you took, look, and we're not going to break it down right now, but if you took all-time grades,
Yeah.
I think you're going to have more all-time grades from
Today's
From the
time.
No,
past.
from the past.
No, from today's
Come
time.
on, man.
I could probably count
So
on
you're
one
telling
hand.
me right now you got Kyrie.
I was just joking, bro. Relax.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, where's Allen Iverson? Like,
Hey, you
come on.
gotta remember, Larry Bird and Magic saved the NBA. Michael Jordan came into the league and completely brought up Nike and made Nike a huge brand and won 6 championships in the making.
And the Pistons made Michael who he was.
And
but anyways.
the Pistons made Michael who he was, and then you got Isaiah Thomas in that team, and you got so many players. You got Charles Barkley, who's never talked about enough. Guy was an
absolute
just natural talent.
Mm-hmm.
Just you talk about talent, he was an abs. In the post, you couldn't guard him. You
That's
couldn't
true.
guard him. Right, and you can name these guys down the road, down the slate, and
And don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from like these new players or this new era
Yeah.
or anything like that. LeBron's a GOAT. There's Kobe is a GOAT. There's a lot of players that are GOATs right now that
Yes.
came out of this time. So I'm not saying, there isn't or they're not good or they don't play well or anything like that. In my mind, I just think Jordan is the actual GOAT.
Yeah.
It's Jordan. LeBron's up there too. Like he's amazing.
Yeah. Ali knows how much I don't like Jordan, right? Like Jordan, because I'm a big Isaiah fan.
Right.
But I'll tell you the difference between LeBron and Jordan, because these guys, I brought it up because they always argue it.
Yeah.
The old timers in our office and the young guys.
yeah, but the
always-
old timers have zero statistics. I got
anyways,
statistics
but
galore.
I'm going to tell you the difference, and I like LeBron. I think he's a great athlete, right? He can go play football tomorrow and run a triathlon or whatever. Jordan had a nastiness. What
Yeah,
do we
he
say
did.
in Arabic? He's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
killer,
Yeah.
right? LeBron, I never see.
Listen,
that
he shies away slightly. He does shy away, but I'm telling you, there's different ways to approach it, and I think that's the best way to approach it. Like, let me ask you a question. If I'm a cutthroat agent, for example, and I talk to everybody like shit, and I deal with them on a different scale, but me and you have the same success, and you talk to everybody nicely, what's the difference at that point? What's the difference?
Yeah, I get it.
So at the end of the day, he approaches the game in a different manner. He tries to get his players better. He tries to get his teammates better.
But they don't have the same statistics. And again, I'm not a Jordan guy.
Yeah.
And even when you say, oh, well, LeBron's number is this, that, it's so impressive the amount of years that he's played, but also it's the amount of years that he's played.
No, it's not, because he beat Jordan's scoring record on 1,400 less shots. Don't tell me that.
Listen, I'll tell you this.
Don't tell me that.
I would have loved to have.
You might have got me on that one.
Yeah, 100%.
I would have loved to have seen LeBron play in that era, because that mean streak toughness that I think he lacks.
Have you ever watched?
I think that era would have
Tonight-
absolutely him
tonight-
driving the lane against Rick Mahorn and Bill Laimbeer and the Charles Oakley and Ewan and these guys and Karl Malone. You saw Karl Malone to Isaiah. Like, I think that would have maybe taken LeBron up to.
Okay, I want you guys to go home, search up on YouTube, Game 6, LeBron James against the Boston Celtics. I think in 2012. Yeah, 2012. No, 2011. No, 2012. Go look up that game. You want to talk about a guy who had just no fucks? That was that man. He was that man.
Habibi, how about when he played against Dallas?
How about when you got smacked by my brother over the weekend?
See, look, you got to deflect and
Yes, I do.
That's so funny.
I do. All right, listen, off topic. Let's talk about something else. Mike, what's your advice to young realtors, loan officers, entrepreneurs, young individuals? Now, you've created some sort of success for yourself. I remember you told me the story 100 times. You got fired.
Yeah, I got fired from the bank.
From the bank.
1998 or 99.
You didn't know what you were going to do.
Right.
You ended up getting into this business. And alhamdulillah, you've created a great success for yourself and for your family. What is your message to everybody? What do you think we can do as young entrepreneurs and individuals?
So they always say, what's your why, right?
Yeah.
I know it's cliche, but it's true. Right now, we've seen a lot of people get into our game over the last few years, and it's great, and there's some great young agents and all that. But why are you doing it? Because you see everybody on Instagram posting up, what they're driving, and they just sold this and that, and they're making money. Are you getting into it for the money? Which is fine if you're going to do something for money. I don't.
Sure.
I have a problem with that, but my advice would be, like I tell my own son. My son's going to school and he's majoring in electrical engineering, and I says, "Bah, do you want to consider this track or this track or this track? Being a typical father." And he goes this way, he goes that way, and he's at the end of the day, he says, "No, I think this is what I want to do." And what I got him to do is he's constantly he talks to different engineers, young guys too.
Yes.
Not, ones that have been in the game a long time, and he picks their brain and all that. And I would give the exact same advice. Don't just say, "Okay, I'm going to go sell houses," or, even professionals, even, physicians or attorneys, right? We have this thing in the community, Ibn, my son or my daughter's going to be a physician. They're going to be an attorney.
Yes.
And you hear about some that are doing it and they really don't want to do it, or they're not happy. And they did it because their parents wanted them to do it,
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of kids like that nowadays.
There is, and I don't agree with that. I think we need to get away from, that, my kid has to do this, and that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, and everybody, and God bless them, but not everybody's cut out for that. For
sure.
And even if they are, but maybe that's not where their passion is. So I would tell these kids, what is your passion? What do you want to do?
Yes.
And I would also tell them, look, you're still young, and that may change.
Yes, absolutely.
That passion may change.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Do I've gotten to where I am because of the hard work I put in and the passion.
Sure.
But I don't think the passion today is where it was, 25, 26 years ago.
No,
Right?
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that's reality.
Yeah.
So, you want to tell the young ones that, hey, talk to people, right? Pick their brain, talk to people that that are established, that have been there, that have done it, that have been through the cycles, right? We see the different real estate cycles, right? I seen the hot market and the early 2000s, and then I saw the crash, and I mean, let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
When I saw that crash, I was a big what you call foreclosure REO agent, and it was tough. We take possession of some of these houses, and I'd see the kids' toys still there, and the rooms and the kids' beds. It was sad. It was tough.
Yeah.
You saw people getting laid off. from the big three and all over. But anyways, you just, someone, to pick their brain, talk to someone who's been through the cycles, ask them questions, not just how much money do you make, what's your day like, what's the profession like,
money
what can I
should be
expect?
money's a big factor, but money should always be the last factor.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Absolutely.
Money plays a big role into being happy, and a lot of people try to say like money doesn't bring happiness, but it's not necessarily the monetary value of the money. It's what you're capable and able to do with that. Again, to your point, it's like figure out the why. So what makes you happy? Is it taking care of your family? Is it something else? Is it is it your passion? It's like, hey, be passionate about what you want to do, and then the money will come along. And then again, find out your why. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be money, but money could help. Maybe that's why a lot of people blame it. Like, oh, I want to do this because it generates a lot of income for me. But they don't really realize what money means to them.
Right.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
Like I tell Ali and I tell all the young agents, I've told you guys a million times, guys, just please don't get caught up in that rat race, right? You guys got into the market, you were doing well, we had a good few years, and do very well for yourself, and it's
And then
but one of the problems you see is they just they get caught up in it, right? The big house, the cars, the this, the that, and I tell them, once you get caught up in that,
100%,
and you're in it, and your wife's in it, and your kids are in it, and you're living this lifestyle, it's not easy to just step back and step aside.
Yeah.
It can just be taken away like that, right?
Yeah.
You just never know.
I think people, when they see like, oh, I want to become this or I want to do that, they see the big house that individual is driving or living in.
Yeah.
They see the car that individual is driving.
Yeah.
But the problem is they don't realize how long it took them to get there.
Right.
Like and I'm not bashing anybody, but like some girls, they come from richer families, very wealthy families. And you look at them and they're expecting the same thing from their husband, from their new husband or whoever they're getting married to. But the problem is you can't expect that from him.
Right.
Your dad, it took him 20, maybe you turned 10 and he just made his first 200,000, for example. Like you can't expect these things out of people. You have to be humble and you have to get humbled. I don't know what it takes for certain individuals, but this is how the matter is. It takes you a while. Either you want to support him, and I always tell people what I would expect from my daughter. I don't want her to struggle, obviously, but if she's with a man who's a hard worker, bikhaf rabbo, and he has good morals,
Absolutely.
I don't care about anything else as long as he's always going to try to achieve more. Try to achieve more. Try to gain more knowledge. Try to be more educated. Try to be a better individual.
Absolutely.
If you can do those things, you'll always be successful. And maybe not financially, but you'll be successful in other ways.
then you can be successful in life without it being financial.
Absolutely.
It's not 100%
Absolutely.
about the money, and I'm a big believer that sometimes to be successful, like sometimes you have to hit rock bottom for you to realize, and it gives you that push,
Yes,
gives you that motivation, that extra oomph that you needed. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. No, I agree.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So last thing I do want to talk about, I know we've had everybody asking us in the comment sections, well, blasting you in the comment section. Like you're getting destroyed.
You guys
in
are
there.
funny. Wallah.
Hey, you're getting destroyed in there. Hey, they say he's a funny looking dude. They say, hey,
coming at me.
there is no way in hell he doesn't get a comment for this outfit. But I love
But look,
you.
you got a Nike shirt on. This guy's got a nice jacket on. I don't
Listen,
get it.
I'm bummed. I'm a
Look, if
bum.
I didn't know you
I'm a
guys,
bum.
I want to do business with him.
And then this guy wants
Really?
to put the headband over here. And what's going on? What is that? What are you even wearing on?
I got long hair, bro. What do you want me to do? Anyways.
He is the sharpest dressed at our office. I got to give him
does,
that.
yeah, he does.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, my man.
Yeah.
Got proof. Anyways, I do want to say a lot of people have been asking me what is Garage Talk and where'd the name come from. And we want to say it to you just so that you could give us your opinion on it too. So our logo is a garage and obviously we set this up in the garage. You're with a couch, TV, hookah, fridge, the whole nine.
My
and
garage.
a rug. Your garage, right? Actually, all of our garages.
Yeah, right.
You were over the other day.
Yeah, exactly.
And in the garage is where the best talks happen.
Absolutely.
In the garage or sometimes in the basement, but in the garage where all the boys chill.
Yeah. Our barbershop.
Our barbershop, exactly. Where we talk shit.
Yeah.
We talk about people. We talk about our livelihoods. We talk about our struggles. We talk about everything. And this is where the name came from. So if anybody was asking, that's where it came from.
I love it. It's cool.
But Mike, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
We thank you. Honestly, a lot of good things were said on this episode, and we really appreciate you for coming out. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.